Hello, I'm Cammy G and welcome back to our Canny Valley AFK Endurance videos. So we are on the last amplifier now, or at least my last amplifier, which is the East amplifier, my amplifier D. And this one has two spawns, so long as you have an amplifier placed up there at the southeast. So if you don't have that one, you might get a spawn up there. So please do let me know in the comments if you have that, and I will look to build a video of that. But yeah, we're going to cover the north direction here, which is actually a shared spawn with the north amplifier over there. You can see on the map. This is a spawn for there. We've got everything set up, so if you haven't seen that, check out that video. But pretty much we've just put wall darts around the edge and then tire drop traps at the top over here. And then this is a tunnel that leads to the amplifier, which is trapped out. If you don't have the amplifier, I think everyone does though, so I think that should be all right. You get that trapped out, and then we blocked up this tunnel here, which, yeah, it's just full of metal in there, so they can't get through. So what we're going to do is bring up this main ramp, and we will block off this other ramp, so we can start with that. So the spawn for the other amplifier actually spreads quite close to here. It's quite a wide spawn, so we can't really place a wall. It will probably get destroyed by that, so we'll just start like this. And if we just do with the usual block offs like this and to here. Now if you do see any sort of resistance on this, you can add floors edited like this inside, which will add extra resistance, but that should be plenty of stuff. The only not issue, but the only downside to that spawn being there is that we can't have a wall with healing on, but we can put a trap underneath there, and honestly this should be enough to stop them from going there anyway. The enemies should want to come through here. Now, we do have hotspots around this ramp area. I believe it's at the bottom, around this sort of area, so we can't build at the bottom of the ramp, and this may get destroyed. So we could just get rid of that now, to be honest, because it's probably going to get destroyed. I think they pop up here and over here somewhere. So we can't build there, but we can build, before that, we can build a little bit, and, you could try building floors here, for example, but you're not really going to get to do too much. So what we'll do is, in this area here, we can utilize a little bit more damage by having some low walls for dynamos. And yeah, we've got those there already. We can do the same thing here. Now, whether you want to keep these floors or not is up to you. If you do have them, enemies will be forced to come up this side. And what we could do is have a launcher into a room, classic type thing that we usually do. But if you don't, you can do this instead, like so. And you can also get, a low wall here with a full wall behind to shoot in. Now, as I say, any further towards the amplifier, and those are probably going to get destroyed by the hot spots. So, the little lava things that come out of the ground. It may damage the stuff around here as well, but we can put ceiling traps over and then do plenty of damage when they get to the top of the ramp as well. So there's a few options. So you could block this part of the ramp. Now, you wouldn't be able to place a wall here, I don't think, because I think it would get blocked or destroyed even by the hotspot. But you could do this, and then you could bring them up the ramp like this and sort of zigzag them towards the objective. The positive thing about that is that we can put a wall launch here to send the enemies flying down. And, we can have one there as well. And then here we can just do damage at the side. Now, it's up to you if you want to go for that, or if you just want to bring them up the ramp in a central place. So what that would look like is like this. And then here we'd have a low wall. Here we'd have a low wall. And you'd just repeat this twice. So you'd have this here and here, there and there. Now, for the most part, the enemies that are going to be getting to this point will probably be smashers and mini-bosses. So the first design probably isn't too effective, because your wall launchers are going to be less likely to knock the smasher back. I mean, if you're using 130s, it should be fine. But that sort of build is better for recycling smaller enemies. So we'll probably just go for this design. We can do plenty of huge damage with this sort of build. Which is why it's perfect. And what we'll do is we'll have a low wall here because we'll use ceiling zappers and ceiling electric field at the side. and that will be doing huge damage. Now, when the enemies come up the ramp, you can also have dynamos there, and you can also extend the full walls for some wall darts, as well as the ceilings. Obviously, keep the ceilings going, and then you can get a wall at the back with some wall darts on, or a dynamo, whichever way you want to go about it. But yeah, that's all we can build for there. Now, we do want to block these sides like so. So we'll just use low walls just to make sure that enemies, well, we don't need one this side, but we can add one here just to prevent enemies from breaking out the side, and then just another one here for block-offs there. Now we can get rid of the floor there as well, because that was from the sort of zigzag design. And then at this point, smashers would, get to the objective, and we'll build a bait for them, don't worry. A cheeky bait and switch.
If you're enjoying the video so far, thank you so much for watching, and I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our members. Thank you so much to the current members we have, and just wanted to go over the tiers to anyone else that might be interested. So we have 5 tiers from Stonewood, Plankton, Canny, Twine, all the way up to Epic Founder, and as you can see on screen, we have these amazing benefits at each tier, getting more and more as you go up. So yeah, if anyone's interested, just look for the join button next to the subscribe button, and thank you so much for your time. Cheers, enjoy the rest of the video.
Now for the ceilings, what we can do is, as I say, have it over this area. So we have one there, like this, and like this. Now if you're worried about enemies dropping down from the top of cliffs, because there are some spawns up here, honestly there's not much you can do about it. There's no point bringing the ceiling down here and back up again to stop enemies, because they can just, for example, if they're up here, they'll just walk over here towards the objective. So we'll just do this with the ceiling, and that'll be plenty of damage. So for those spawns up here, you can get them on this sort of edge of the cliff here. Because the spawn is around this area, it goes wide, so it spreads over this area. You'll get some here. The main bunk will be down there. You can get some on that sort of ledge there, like you can with the other amplifier, the one over there. And then you can get some on the top there as well. So we're going to have to build for all of these. So what we're going to do is, if we build up here, like so, just build up again, this, and then get a ceiling. We'll put tire drop traps on these to hit the enemies. Now you can go up one higher if you want. It's not too much of a difference, to be honest. And then what we can do is, on this, we can use a wall launcher as well to knock them down here, at which point they'd have to drop down and, go the normal way. If they did make it past this, though, you can add block-offs to make sure enemies can't get to the objective. So that would just be in the form of like that, basically, just something like that. And then you can have some traps on. You might want to cover that corner. I don't think the enemies can get through, but I guess just if you're paranoid. But then the enemies might drop down here and go over your tunnel. So it's up to you how you want to do it. You could then put walls here to stop that, and but they can get there from here. That's why it's a bit awkward. But at least with these blocking, what we can do is, as I said before, I think I said not to do this, but we can make this bit higher so the enemies can't jump on, or just have it open like this, either way, or we can just bring the ceiling to this height. That way, if the enemies do drop down from there onto that ledge, they can either drop onto that ceiling or go to there and drop down to here. You could probably put, just like a little one of them to make sure they can't cut onto this corner. But yeah, with this bit being lower, they'd have to come here, and then they'd go through the tunnel as normal, as the rest of the enemies would. So that is the reason for that. Then we've got the other side. So if we come over here, so right here, they can spawn on that ledge just as they can for that amplifier. They can spawn on that ledge over there and at the back. So what we can do is just do some damage to them as they come up, like so. Put wall darts on there, and just put some damage on here as they come up. It's up to you how much you want to do. You probably don't need too much, but I'll just do this and put ceilings over it, and then let them come out. At this point, as I say, they would go towards the objective, but I really don't think the enemies would. It wouldn't be smashers, it'd just be like lobbers, regular husks, so this should definitely deal with them. But if you do notice any come through on you know, one of your runs, just add a bit more damage. But it is a rare spawn anyway, so you shouldn't get any trouble. Then they could actually spawn on this bit here, which is basically just above that one. You know, they could spawn on this bit. You could try blocking off from here, but I think it might get destroyed by the spawn. So what you can do is block from here. Now the only issue is with this ceiling, they can obviously walk over the ceiling. So what we'll do actually for this, so apologies for this, what we can do is, one, we can have wall launchers here with slowing, and any enemies that come from this side and come to this way will get launched on top of that tunnel, and they'll have to go down the usual way. You can try blocking this bit off, as I said. You can. Maybe if you get rid of that one as well, they might be inclined to go down there, so that would be useful. And, you know, this might get destroyed, but at least it's a way to try stop them, and if you do that, it should disincentivize them. But yeah, if we do that, and now that we have this placed here, we can place a raised ceiling for the ones that come up this area. Again, this is a bit over the top, but, you know, we like to go over the top on Canny G for the endurance because it needs to be fully AFK and guaranteed. So that's the Canny G guarantee. That's why we're doing that. What you can do, though, as well, if you want, is add another layer back here of blockades if you want, like this. And that should really stop anything from, you know, being able to go this way onto the objective, and that should cover that. Now all that we need to do is get a bait and switch. There's a few places. Obviously over here we have a ramp which is quite close to this bait and switch here actually, and you could come up here and extend it up here or something and bring them to here, but it's a bit more out of the way. There is a ramp here, however, which comes naturally quite high up, and then if we bring them here, we can then bring them towards the amplifier. So we would probably bring them down some stairs at some point, but if we go flat first, and then if I can get some stairs edited like that, if we bring them down from here and get a wall there, this wall lights would knock them down to here. They'd have to come back up and go along it again. Now, as we've done in the past with other builds, we want a little bit of extra connection here. So what I'm going to do is just add that connection there, and I'm going to get a pair of stairs underneath here in the ground. If I can. There we go. So now if I get rid of this structure support, and if I break this one, it stays intact because of these stairs. I appreciate that was a long-winded way of doing that, but, you know, that's fine. And now once we're here, we can then come to the corner like this. So, you know, instead of knocking them off at the stairs, you could just knock them off here. So by that, I mean, get that full, and then here you could have two walls where if you edit them like this, these smashers would have to walk along the edge. Now, if you want, you can do that, and you can also do that. So the smashers will have to come here. They'll always be on this side, and these lights will knock them down to here, and then they'll have to go back up. Then at this corner, this is where we would build this, like that. The only issue you might get with this is it's quite close to this build to the amplifier, so smashers might actually try charge this. So if you do see that, just go back to the other design, or just do that. I mean, you know, that works. Just make sure if you are building it like this, and you don't have this wall, well, yeah, you can have this as a regular floor now. But yeah, that works if you want to do that instead. It's up to you. It really is up to you how you want to go about it. Pretty much the same as the one before, so it's probably a better way to do it anyway, to be honest. Then for the bait and switch, so if you don't know about this, if you haven't seen it before, what this is doing is basically making the smashers think that there is a defense around the objective. So it sees this and thinks this stops not smashers, regular enemies from making it into the amplifier. So it wants to destroy it, but because we're not actually going to connect it to the ground here, the smashers can't see a way to get to it from here. So they will go up that ramp we made. Oh, get rid of that, make sure it's not connected to the floor. They will see that ramp we made, and they will follow it up and all the way across to get to it to destroy it. Now, they may charge at the bottom and they can destroy some of these or damage them, but don't worry about that. In general, they will go up. And then mini-bosses. Mini-bosses can't be knocked off by wall lights here, but they will come across and they will generally either break one wall, then jump off, or they'll just come down and jump off. It's a beautiful little trick of the AI. But yeah, there you go. That's all you need to build for this one. Quite small, thankfully, so we can save on some metal. So I'll go ahead and level this stuff up, and then I will be back to show you where the traps go. So I'll see you shortly if you want. But you shouldn't need any more than that. And if you're really paranoid, you can go up here and place a wall spikes on that, so that if that does get destroyed, it's got that as well. And that should do it for the spawn traps. As I say, the rest was covered with the other build, so check that out. It's the playlists are linked and everything, so check out that if you need to. But what we can do is cover these side bits. So for these, what we will do is just place tire drop traps facing the way they would walk to get out of here, basically. Then, as I say, on this one, we'll do a launcher. So I'm going to do a durability launch on this one to make it last, and they'll get sent down there. Now, if they did make it into this area, what I'd do is wall spikes and broadsides here. For this bit, just put wall spike there. They're not going to beat on this wall. It would be that one. And you could put, ceiling trap if you needed to, but you shouldn't need anything extra on top of that. Over here, we're going to need 2 more durability launchers. So if we get those like that, you can also add one here, to be honest, to knock them out there. But I'm happy with enemies dropping down there. So what we'll do is put wall spikes, and if they try to get into it, that'll happen. Now, on this one, you can do a ceiling electric field, as it will affect enemies up here. I'm not too bothered about hitting the enemies as they come up, but it does zap 2 blocks, so it might hit the top of them. But this is mainly, as I say, for this sort of area. So if enemies were beating on this, not only would they take damage from the spikes, but they'd also take damage from that. And then for the floors on these, I'd probably... it's up to you. I mean, tar pit, freeze, and floor spikes would all work well here. I'm probably going to go for the freeze trap and just face this direction when placing it. But as I say, the other 2 work fine, so don't really worry about that. On this bit, we're going to place tire drop traps all the way around, facing the direction the enemies would be. We can place... we can get rid of that wall, actually, and place a launcher here. Do a durability one again. Put broadsides on these walls. Throughout this entire bit, I'm going to use floor spikes, and we can just keep repeating the durability launcher. Now, if you want, you can extend their path a little bit by doing this, and that, and one here. It's up to you. It's not overly necessary, but definitely feel free to pop that in if you want. And then opposite the launchers, I'm just going to put broadsides. That one actually doesn't want to be broadside. Sorry, I thought it was opposite a thing. We'll just do a dynamo there, and that should cover all that stuff. Cool. So yeah, that'll cover all your traps. You just need stuff on the bait and switch. So what I like to do usually is some spikes on here in case a mini boss teleports up or the smashers make it, for example. But they shouldn't do if you get these wall lights set up on the stairs. And then finally, I'll do a freeze here so that if enemies were trying to hit this, it would mitigate that and stop them from wanting to. But yeah, there's your build. Quite a short one, thankfully. And then all we've got left to do is the east direction for this, and then we're done. Or at least if you have the same layout as me, you're done. But don't worry, I'm working on the other amplifiers as well, the other flex and the other directions. So everything will be covered by the end of it. Don't you worry. And we are on the east amplifier, not the south. I always get it mixed up just because we're like down the hill from the home base, so it feels like the south. But yeah, the east amplifier. And we are now working on the east spawns. We've got the north done. Check out that video if you haven't seen that. But yeah, for the east, the spawn is going to be way over here, just to the side of the southeast amps spawn to the east. So we covered that. You know, they spawn over there. This one's going to spawn in this area. Now, we have had issues in the past. I think I made memes from it. We had enemies spawn up on this bit and they walked on our trap tunnels. So we'll be extra careful to make sure that doesn't happen here. But yeah, there's 2 routes they can take. Well, I guess 3 technically. We've blocked up this route when we built the other amplifier, but if you don't have that one placed down or whatever, basically just blocked 3, here. So 3 walls with 3 ramps behind. And we've blocked this ramp from stuff from getting up, and we've also added this in as a natural, barrier for the enemies. So what we're going to do is one little extra blockade we want to make down here is just we've got this sort of area here where they can, go behind things and come in weird directions and get across the sides. We just want to make sure that nothing strange happens over here, so we can just block like this, and like this. Now you can add more in there if you need to. It's not overly important because for the most part our other trap tunnels will pick them up, but it just stops enemies from going up onto the top of these cliffs and jumping down and circumventing the trap tunnels basically. And yeah, once we've got that, our main tunnel will be through this little snicket down here. It's a nice area. I love building tunnels in places like this because it's just like you don't even have to think where the walls and stuff go. They just naturally go against the concave of the mountain, So it's lovely to get that stuff in. And then from here, we'll let the enemies go to the amplifier because it's just going to be sort of smashers at this point. So yeah, they'll go up to the bait and switch that we built from last time, which again, if you haven't seen that, check that out. But yeah, we'll get the enemies in here. Now, the enemies can walk up on this here. They can't on this side. Oh, they can actually. Sorry. They can't. Yeah, they can. It looks like you can, but it sort of jolts up. So yeah, it should be fine there. I mean, you can add a wall there if you want. But what we're going to do is block this other direction. So we could build trap tunnels down here as well, like we did on one of the other amplifiers. But what we're going to do, yeah, is just block it. So if we come to the front here and just try to save on structures for you guys. If you start here, for example, and then do that, it won't place one in the ground. It's not much, but it's honest work. Yeah. So get the grid method going as we usually do, and then the cones we're just gonna. I mean, it doesn't really matter which way the cones face. Yeah, it really doesn't matter too much. So just do it how you like. I'd probably face it into the middle maybe, but as I say, it shouldn't matter too much. You can mess around with it. But yeah, we'll get that grid method going, and that should be enough. I think you can add more in front or behind should you need. You can add another layer of cones, either in front or behind. Either way, if you do need that, if you do see resistance, but I will let you know how testing goes. But yeah, that's the block offs, and we have that tunnel blocked off, as I said before. So all that there is to do now is pretty much... Well, actually, we can finish this bit while we're here, sorry. So we'll just do low walls for dynamos, and then a full wall at the back for wall darts, and a ceiling either side to zap inwards. And you can add a little bit here if you want as well, like this, as an extra bit. I'd avoid placing anything around this area, because the smashers might go a bit weird. But the ceiling should be fine, and that extra bit there should be fine. So if we go through the tunnel out into here, now you can add more stuff here. So if you want, you can block this ramp, so you can do like the glitch or whatever, or you can just build a wall, ceiling, and a cone to stop the enemies from coming up here. I don't think they're going to want to come up here anyway because we blocked it off and we've got this block off. But just add more should you need it. There's probably a chance you can get a spawn on this raised bit anyway. But yeah, the main spawn will be down in this area around here, and you can add more, walls for damage if you want, like this, and even over here, especially to stop enemies getting through this block off. So you can add traps there as well. And then what we can do is get some ceiling traps here, and probably we'll save it there. So at some point you want to bring a wall up. So if we then just build up one more, and if we can get a floor place there, we can then go up here. This is 3 tiles above the ground, so this is perfect for our tire drop traps, and we're just going to place these pretty much over the entire thing. Over here, I don't think they can spawn on this upper bit, so you shouldn't have problems of them going over here. But if you do see it, just block the sides, block over here, and just put some traps in here as we did in the other direction. But as I say, I don't think they can spawn there. I think it's on this lower one here and on here, so don't worry about that. You know, you can add a wall there with some wall darts if you want a little bit of extra damage, but it's really not that necessary. So they actually managed to flank round here. I'm not sure where they spawned. I think it must be this spawn here. Yeah, they went around here, pathed under this bridge, and then came round. Let's grab that. Came round and went up here and then up here. And then flingers were able to target the objective and regular husks would drop down. So all you need to do for this is just block the ramp. Like you can do the glitch if you want, you know, doing that, but I'd recommend just blocking it properly. Like this, that should be plenty enough to stop them. They won't be able to see it as a route up now. And if you're paranoid, you know, just wall spikes on the wall and a ceiling trap of your choice there. And if you really want to, you could block this ramp as well. But the bottom one should be plenty enough, though, I think. Then just bring this all the way over to the back, like this, covering pretty much the entire area. It will act as a lobber shield as well, obviously, this whole thing. Stop lobbers from being able to target the amplifier all the way back there. Probably want a lower bit. So just in case enemies were able to make it onto this cliff, I don't think they can. Well, they can't climb up anyway, but there might be a random spawn, you know, on one of these edges. So to stop them from being able to just walk across the entire thing, what we can do is if we lower this down somewhere, doesn't really matter where, if you manage to do it without falling off as well, unlike me, if you place another layer of ceilings at this height, like so, and it's up to you how much you want to go with this, you know, it's not overly necessary to do the whole thing. Probably stop there. Maybe put one there as well. But yeah, if the enemies did drop on top, the worst they could do is like get into this area up here. And we're not too bothered about them being up here because, well, they won't go through this, but we can put traps on that anyway. In fact, I'll just place that now so we don't forget. You can just put some spikes and maybe a trap above with, I don't know, it doesn't really matter. You know, a ceiling electric field, a zapper, a gas trap, any of them would work well. I'll just put a gas trap. But yeah, that's the worst they can do if they did drop on top. Bot, please stop. But you know, because we have this at a lower level, they can't get onto this one and, for example, go all the way over here. And I mean, they can't even get anywhere anyway. So if you wanted to keep it all the same height, that's, you know, up to you. It's not really too much of an issue. So yeah, if you want to do any more extra damage down here, you can try. You know, if you want to put extra walls with sort of wall darts on in any of the locations, just bear in mind that they might get destroyed by spawns. So, you know, if you want to not waste the traps, you know, don't place them. But yeah, that should be plenty of stuff. You know, I might just add a bit of an extra like that, for example, and maybe one there as an extra mitigation against that. In fact, there could be a full wall with a broadside on, actually, across there. That'd be nice. But yeah, now that you've got that stuff down, and as long as you have the bait and switch built from last time, so this, I can briefly show it if you haven't though, we've just put stairs inside the structure there to keep this up if this floor did get destroyed. But yeah, we'll just come across, then gone down on some stairs with some wall lights pushing off, another wall lights pushing off, connecting to a full, and then to the amplifier here with this design. Obviously, just feel free to pause and rewind if you need to hear, but I don't want to show it because it's in the other video and I don't want to waste everyone's time that has already seen it. But yeah, now that you got that stuff, I will level this up and we can show where the traps go. So a nice low resource costing one again. Lovely. Right, now that you've got that stuff leveled up and or leveling up, as mine is, we can place some traps. So by the objective here, as usual, on these back walls, we place some wall darts. And then on the closer ones, we go for wall dynamos on the low walls. At the end, we're going to go for a tar pit trap, just in case a smasher does want to charge here. And through the center, for the ceilings, we'll do zappers towards the end here to really finish off any smashers or mini-bosses. But, I mean, if they make it through, it's fine. We've got the bait and switch. On the walls here, any two walls you have looking at each other like this, you want to place broadsides. Now we want wall launchers on some of these, particularly maybe this one, but I'd say the most important one is this one, as well as this and that. So I'm going to leave that one as broadside. Now this one I'll go for darts, since there's no wall opposite it. On the floors, I would go retractable on the ends here. And as they come through, maybe a freeze here. And then at the beginning, we'll go for wooden floor spikes. For the ceilings, as they get further in, you know, I'm probably still going to do some zappers here, because normal enemies really aren't going to make it this far. And then at the entrance here, what we're going to do is ceiling electric field. And then once we get here, this one, honestly, it's up to you which one to go for. I think either a zapper or a ceiling electric field would be good. A gas trap would be good. It's up to you. I'm going to go for another zapper because I've started using these recently, and you know I like it, so yeah, I'm going to do that. For the wall launcher, we're going to go for an impact one here, so the one with more impact on it and reload. And then for these two, we're going to go for the durability one, so the one that has 4 durability. Now, as with other builds, we can sort of extend the path of the husks if we want, like this, to make them more likely to be hit by the launchers. That's up to you. I'm going to get rid of that one, just for the sake of this and the fact that it's further in. I don't think it's that necessary. Get broadsides everywhere here, and yeah, we'll do it on that one as well, actually. That'll be useful. I think that's everything now. So out here, I just want to place these two as broadsides first, and then the rest will be wall darts pretty much, which I'm going to need to craft some more. So let's just go ahead and do that. I'm running out of twine, not twine, peaky, what was it called? Maybe it is twine, actually. Carved twine, yeah. Twine peaks confused me then. I was like, no, it's twine peaks, so the thing wouldn't be called twine. My brain hurts. Sorry, yours probably does now as well. And then the ceilings here, just do zappers to damage any single enemies that try, you know, make it round the trap tunnels. We'll do wall darts here. And we have one up here as well, just while I'm here. There. And then on these two, I'd go for spikes. Now, if you want ceilings here, wow, I didn't mean to place that one there. Can I get rid of that? Oh, that's what I wanted to avoid doing, because now I'm going to have to place that back down and level it up again. Yeah. But yeah, if you want to place ceilings there, all you have to do is just lower the wall down here somewhere. You know, like this, for example, and get ceilings under. It's not overly necessary, you know, it's really not. And you can have a wall here with wall darts if you want, again, over the top. But if you were having these here, I'd probably go for zapper there and electric field there. And let's just get that leveled up before I forget about it, because I'm definitely going to forget about it. Right, where were we? We might want something on this one, such as a healing wall spike on the back, just in case enemies do try beat through it. Then here we will do a dynamo. Again, you can put a healing spike on the back of it if you want. Probably not necessary on that one, but if you are paranoid, you know, place one. But I really think they'll just go through the main tunnel, so you shouldn't have to worry about that. And then I think all that's left to do is place the ceiling traps. So these are all pretty much gonna be drop traps, except from that one, and that one. I think all of the rest of them will be drop traps. Making sure before I commit to that, but yeah, all the rest will be drop traps, so you can go ahead and start placing these down. I'll probably speed this up, but yeah, as I'm placing these, I think for pretty much all of these, we will be facing the amplifier as we place them, as that will knock the enemies back into spawn, because they knock enemies backwards compared to where you're looking when you place it. Just a note on those last three there. These I faced the blockades as placing them, just to knock them away from that direction, so that if they do try breakthrough, then they'll probably go towards the tunnel. And this ceiling here is just for lobbers and flingers. You don't need a trap on that one, because it wouldn't affect them anyway, so there's no point wasting a trap. But yeah, now that that stuff's placed, you should be good to go for your full endurance. If you've got the same amplifiers as me, if you have the other amplifiers, as I say, check out the videos and the playlist. I will be doing videos for every single amplifier, every single spawn. So if you don't see one, let me know in the comments. But if you check the playlist, you should be able to find them. But yeah, thank you so much for watching and sticking through the videos, through the entire build. So thank you so much for that. And yeah, just big thank you, I guess, for, supporting me in any way you can. So thank you so much. I will hope to see you in a future video. And yeah, have a good day.